This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. In previous class, we have seen about setting the name and getting the name of the thread. So in this session, we are going to see about thread priorities. So in previous class, we have seen about how to define a thread by using thread class, how to define a thread by using runnable interface, and also about the how to set and how to get the name of the thread. Now we are seeing about priorities. So here, for let us consider if there are two threads. If two threads are there, which one has to be executed first? So it will be decided by your thread scheduler. How it is going to decide? Based on some algorithms or based on some priorities. So compulsory for every thread there should be some priority. It may be default priority or it may be any other priority. So compulsory priority should be there for a thread. Okay. So to better understand of these thread priorities, already you have completed your operating system subject, process management. There you are having the concept of priority scheduling algorithm. So in that, for every process you are going to have a priority. In the same way here also we are having a threads, priorities for a thread. Okay, let us start the thread priorities. So every thread in Java has some priority. It may be default priority generated by JVM or explicitly provided by the programmer. So already we have discussed about main thread in previous sessions. So what is meant by a main thread means, so first method that is going to be executed in your program in our normal Java applications is main method. That is public static void means string args. So that method is going to be executed. Who is going to execute that one? JVM is going to execute. So generally we will say it as a JVM is going to execute. But internally what happens means JVM is going to create one thread. The name of that thread is what? Main. Who is going to create main thread? JVM. Is user is going to create it? No. JVM is going to create it. So we can say that thread as default thread, which is created by JVM. So if it is created by JVM, are we giving the priorities to that thread by default? No. Defaultly, there will be a priority for that main thread when it is going to be created by default. So we will discuss all these things. So first, before going to discuss about main thread, let us see what are the different type of priorities we are having in our Java. So generally here, if you consider your operating system, there we are having what priorities? We can take any priority value from 1 to 100 or anything we can consider. But here we have some fixed priorities. Those are from 1 to 100, not from 0 to 9 or 0 to 10. It is from 1 to 100, where 1 is going to have least priority and 10 is having highest priority. So these are constants. That means what? 1 is having least priority only, 10 is having highest priority. But when we are going to perform scheduling algorithms, there we can consider 10 as highest priority or 1 as highest priority based on our requirement. But here it is compulsory that 1 is a least priority and 10 is a highest priority. So that means what? If you want to, if there is a priority for a thread internally, or if you are going to keep a priority for a thread, compulsory it should be in between 1 to 10. That means 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. It should be, it should not be 0 or it should not be about 10. Okay, this is about thread priorities. So for these thread priorities we are having three constants. So already we know that every constant generally will be in capital letters. So thread class defines a following constant to represent some standard priorities. So as these are constants, there will be static. So we are calling by using a thread class. Okay, min underscore priority. It is not min priority or low priority. It is a min underscore priority. Min underscore priority means what? It is 1. That means if you want to place any thread priority as 1, directly you can write what? Min underscore priority, or we can also write 1. Okay, we are having some constants internally. Okay, in the same way for max priority, we are going to have a constant called as max underscore priority. So we have to represent it with thread dot max underscore priority. So the value is what? 10. That means max underscore priority or 10 is same. That means if you want to place 10, you can place 10 directly, or we can place max underscore priority. In the same way, we are having norm priority. That means average, normal priority. So the value is what? 5. Here it is represented with a constant called as norm underscore priority. So these are the three types of constants we are having in our thread class regarding our thread priorities. Okay, these three, we are not having any other names like lowest priority or high priority. We are having what? Min underscore priority, max underscore priority, and norm underscore priority. Here we have to remember those priorities also. First one is min underscore priority means what? 1. Max underscore priority means what? 10. Norm underscore priority means what? 5. Okay, now, so generally who are going to use these priorities? Generally, who is going to see all the tasks of these threads? Thread scheduler. So thread scheduler uses these priorities while allocating CPU. Okay, the thread which is having highest priority will get chance for the uh, execution first. Those who are having highest priority, those the people or the threads can execute first. Okay, now for example, if two threads having same priority, then what happens? We can't expect the which one is going to execute first. It is based on the your thread scheduler behavior. That means if your thread scheduler is going to follow an algorithm called as, for example, first in first out, or sorry, first come first serve, then it is going to give a chance to first whatever the thread it is entered into the queue, it will give chance to that. But if it is going to take a priority algorithm, so we can't expect. Again, internally it may implement some other algorithm to vary the which one has to execute first. So it is not dependent on the user, it is dependent on thread scheduler, and internally what algorithm is going to be implemented inside the thread scheduler. Who will decide the algorithm that is present in thread scheduler? So those who are developing JVM, those people are going to keep all those algorithms. We are not bothering about those things. Okay, so it depends on what? Thread scheduler whose behavior is vendor dependent. Those who are developing these type of thread schedulers, those are going to bother about all these things. We are not going to think about all these things. Okay, now our concept is what? So now already we are having threads. We know that threads are from what? 1 to 10, ranges from 1 to 10. Now I want to set a priority for some threads. So how to set? Sir, I want to know a priority of a thread. How to know? So we are having two methods. As previous session we have seen about set name and get name, here also we are having for setting and getting the priority two methods. One is get priority and second one is set priority. While setting priority, you have to give some value which priority has to be set. While getting the priority, you are going to get priority whatever already present. So while getting a priority, the return type is what? Int. That means it is going to give you what? Int type. That is what, why we are going to take int type, because here what? The range is from 1 to 10. 1 to 10 are what? Integers only. So here it is going to be written as int value. So here second case, set priority. You are going to set a priority for a thread. You are not going to get anything. You are not going to it is not going to return anything. So return type is what? Void. So compulsory here in brackets we have to write what? Only the priorities that are from 1 to 10 only. If you are going to write other than 10, that is other than 1 to 10, you are going to get an exception. That is what? Runtime exception, saying illegal argument. That means in bracket these things are called as what? Arguments. Okay, so we can call this one as what? Illegal argument exception. When we are going to get this one? We are going to get this exception when we are going to insert a values from other than 1 to 10. Okay, that means if you are going to insert 11 as a priority, then what happens? We are going to get illegal argument exception. If we place 0, so same, we are going to get an runtime exception. Okay, other than it will see whether it is from 1 to 10 or not. Yes, it is 1 to 10, it is fine, no problem. If it is other than 1 to 10, it may be negative values, it may be anything, we are going to get an exception. Okay, right. Till now we have seen a basics about our thread priorities. Now before going to see an example, we have to discuss about default priority. So you have to remember one point, that what is the default thread that is created internally? That is main thread. So main thread is a default thread that is going to be implemented by JVM, that is going to be created by JVM. So if I want a default thread that is a main, just I'm going to call a Java. There is a, while executing, I will write what tool called as Java. Automatically internally JVM will invoke a main thread is going to be created, and the task of main thread is what? To execute a main method. Now the concept is main is also a thread. Okay, so for that thread also there should be some priority. So defaultly the priority of your main is 5. Okay, default priority of main is what? 5. Who placed it? By default JVM is going to place, or thread scheduler is going to place it as a 5. What about other threads? Okay, now before going to execute this program, I will give you a clear picture about this one. So tell me one thing, if you are in the concept of inheritance, if parent class is having 10 properties, for example, some 10 methods, for example, so how many properties will be given for a child? Those 10 properties will be given for a child. For example, here we are having class B. Okay, in this I am having 10 properties. For example, 10 methods I am having. If some class called as C is going to extend B, for example, then the C is going to get how many properties? Those 10 properties. That means what? Here I am saying what? C is subclass of B, or B is superclass of C. I am saying so that all these 10 properties will be available for this child class. Okay, now the concept is we are seeing what about priorities. Who is going to create a child thread? Generally your main thread. Okay, I will show all those examples. So main thread will act as a parent to the child threads. So all the properties of main thread initially will be given to the child threads. That means the priority of main thread is what? 5. So who created this child thread? Main. So the priority of main, let us consider here parent thread as main, so that the parent thread priority will be given to its child. So if I am going to create, if main thread is going to create a child thread, so for that child thread the properties of this main thread will be given to that one. So let us consider one child thread is going to create one more thread, then child thread properties will be given to other child. Okay, we will see all these cases. Now see here. So, but for all remaining threads, the default priority will be inherited from parent to child. That is, whatever the priority parent says, by default, same priority will be for the child also. Okay. Now, so see, in this example, I am not going to bother about run or start method. So I have done what? I have placed empty body for this one. So first you have to remember what? My thread extends what? Thread. That means this my thread is going to get the properties of thread. I am not focusing on run or start here. I am focusing on what? Priorities. So now see. So which thread is created here? Main thread. So main thread is going to execute main method. What is the priority for your main thread? 5. Who has given it by default? So we can call it as a default priority as 5. So for how many threads default priority will be 5? Only for main thread default priority will be 5. Okay, by default it is giving. It is there. Okay. Now, system dot out dot println thread dot current thread. What is the current thread dot current thread here? Main. Okay. Dot get priority. What is the priority of main? 5. So we are going to get what? 5. Okay. Get priority means what? Main dot get priority means what is the priority of your main? 5. Okay. Now I want to change the priority of main. So see here. Thread dot current thread. What here? Main. Dot set priority. I am changing that priority to what? 9. So here from here, what is the priority of main? 9. Because I have set the priority as 9 here. First it is having 5. Now I am changing it as a 9. Now who is going to execute this statement? The statement is going to be executed by main thread. So automatically when this thread is going to be created, the features of main thread is going to be given. What is the main thread priority here? 9. So if I want to check the priority of T here, you are going to get what? 9. If I am not going to change, that means if I am not going to write this statement, that is here, if you see that one, this one, if I am not going to write this statement, let us consider here the statement is not there. So what will be the output here? You are going to get output as 5 because main thread priority is what? 5. Who created this thread? Main thread. So when I ask the priority of T, it is going to give the 5 only. As we have changed the priority of main, here also for child thread also, we are going to get 9 as the priority. Okay, let us see one or two more examples for explaining these concepts. Okay, now see here. So here I have taken a program where I am having two classes. One is a main method, one is having a main method, another one is a thread extended class. Class that extends the thread. So in this I have printed what? 10 times child thread. In this I am printing what? Main thread 10 times. Okay, no problem. Now see, which thread is going to be executed here? Here, which thread is going to be executed? Main thread. So who is executing this statement? Main thread. Who is creating this T? Main thread. So what is the priority of this T? 5. Who is giving that priority? Main thread. So leave this statement. Later I will explain about this statement. So let us see without this statement initially. Now T dot start. What happens here? Whenever main thread is going to call T dot start here. So from here, how many threads you are going to have? You are going to have two threads. So one is, that means already here we are having two threads, but the working of second thread is going to be started from here. This is T and another one is what I am having here, main thread. Two threads are there. Okay, so what is the task of T dot start? So T belongs to whom? My thread. So internally start method is called what? Run method. So which run method? T's run method. That means this T goes here. T goes here and it starts executing this method. What about main? Will main sit silently? No, it executes main method. So both are going to execute what? Simultaneously. Here one point why these things are going to be done simultaneously, because the priority of your main thread is what? 5. At the same way priority of your child thread is what? 5. So both are going to execute simultaneously because both are having same priority. Now what will be the output in this case? We cannot expect the output correctly. That means irregular output is going to be generated. That means in some cases child thread 2 times, main thread 3 times, otherwise in some cases mixed output. We can't expect the output. Okay, right. Now let us consider this statement. Without this statement till now I have discussed. Now with this statement, that means I'm going to consider this statement now. Now what happens means, if you are going to consider this statement here, now T not set priority, main thread priority. Now tell me here, while creating this T, what is the priority that I'm going to assign to that? Who has given? Main is going to give for T 5. So T priority is 5, main priority is 5. What about here? I am changing the priority of T as 10. Now at this point, two threads are there. Main thread is there, T is a thread. So T is having a priority 10 and main is having a priority 5. So which is having highest priority now? Child thread is going to having child thread is going to have a highest priority. So here whenever I am going to say T dot start, here two threads will be there. One thread goes execute here and main thread will execute here. But in here, when I am going to start a thread T, two threads are available. One is thread with priority 10, another one is a thread with priority 5. Which thread is going to execute first? Automatically the priority with sorry, the thread which is having highest priority. So it goes from here to here. First it is going to print what? Child thread 10 times. After completing the thread which is having highest priority, then only lowest thread, that is main, is going to execute. That means child thread is going to execute 10 times. After child thread only main thread is going to execute 10 times. This will be happen only when we are using this line. If I am not going to, if I am commenting this line, what happens? First we can't expect the output. Okay, all right. I think now you have a clear clarity about these threads. Now see, if we are commenting line 1, then both main and child threads will have the same priority and hence we can't expect the exact execution order. If we are not commenting line 1, then child thread has priority 10 and main thread is having priority 5. Hence, child thread will get the chance for execution, and after completing child thread only, main thread is going to get chance for execution. Then the output will be what? Child thread 10 times and main thread 10 times. Okay. So in some cases, some operating systems may not support this one, but nowadays, maximum operating systems may support. Okay. Anyway, this is about your priorities. Okay. Now, next, this is an important concept now I'm discussing, that is prevention of a thread from execution. That means if one thread is going to execute when it is in running state, if I want to terminate it or I want to stop in between, some methods are going to help us. Those methods are yield method, join method, and sleep methods. Three methods are there. So later we will see about stop method, interrupt method. We will see all these things later. But these three are important methods for preventing a thread execution. So now see. So these are the three methods. First, I am going to explain yield method. So it is these three are very important. Okay. Yield method. Yield is a method. Okay, which is present in a thread. So you have to remember one thing. Till now we have seen how many methods? Run, start. You have understand run. Next start you have understood. Next one get priority. Sorry, get name, get priority, set priority, current thread. These are all the methods of whom thread class. Now we are going to see three more methods on whom we are going to apply these three methods on threads. That means these three methods has to be present in your thread class only. Okay, that means these three methods are present in a thread class. So first I will explain about yield method. So see, listen carefully, easy concept. So yield method causes to pass current executing thread for giving chance to remaining waiting threads of same priority. So I will give you a better example to understand this one. So let us consider while your class is going on. For example, while your class is going on, this is your classroom. So let us consider here one faculty is teaching here. In your class, one faculty is there. So while he is teaching, other faculty is waiting outside to get into the class. For example, okay, what this faculty will think? Okay, I myself stops my lecture and I will give chance to him to execute. Then he will go to which state? He will come to this state and he will come to this running state. Okay, that means yield is nothing but it stops on its own. That means it is going to pass its execution and goes to waiting state and giving chance to whom? Waiting threads. Now the concept is, what is a waiting thread here? Okay, so waiting thread is nothing but what? A thread which is waiting for execution. Okay, now here let us consider when this thread is going to give chance to this one. If both are having same priority, let us consider the priority of this one is 5, for example, and this one also 5. So if this thread want to give chance to this thread, it can give. For example, if that this thread is having priority 5 and this thread is having priority some 9, for example, so which one is having highest priority? This thread. So this thread will not ask anything, any permissions from this thread. Directly it can go, because when compared to these two threads, which is having highest priority, this thread is going to have highest priority. So automatically when this thread arrives, this thread has to come into waiting state. So let us consider one more example. If this thread is having only priority 3, so this particular thread is not going to give chance to this particular thread. Reason is what? It is having lowest priority. For example, if students are waiting outside who came late for the class, so is there any particular thing is there to allow those persons into the class? For example, will he allow? No, he will not allow this type of threats. For example, if other faculty is waiting, he will stop and he will give chance to talk inside a class. Okay, if highest priority like principal sir is waiting outside, so principal sir generally will not wait, he will get into the class directly, because he is the highest, he is having highest priority. Okay, that is the concept. Before going to see the yield method, you have to understand this concept. Okay, anyway, now so here you can see yield method. So when yield method is going to be applied, yield method causes to pass a currently executing thread, whatever the thread that is going to executing currently, it will pass and it is going to give chance to other waiting threads which is having high same priority. One more thing I have to discuss here. Let us consider waiting threads are more. For example, waiting threads are 3 waiting threads are there. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3. Let us consider here one thread is there which is executing here. Okay, so let us consider the priority of this one is 9. All the priorities are 9 here, for example. So all are waiting here. Now what happens? This thread wants to give chance for execution for these waiting threads. Okay, when it passes its execution and it leaves the okay, it passes the execution and come out. Here we can't expect which is going to get chance to execute next. Will 3 will get, may not, may or may not. Will 2 will get, may or may not. Will 1 will get, may or may not. We can't expect that one because all are having what equal priorities. Okay, we can't expect once more than one thread is waiting for execution of same priority. Which one will get chance to execute? We can't expect. Okay, all right. Now let us see second point. If all waiting threads have the low priority, let us already we have discussed this point, low priority, or if no thread is waiting, then the same thread will continue its execution. If no one are waiting, let us consider no faculty is waiting outside to enter into the room, for whom I have to give the chance to execute? No. So if there is no waiting thread, there is no need of passing the current execution thread. So if the priority of a thread who is waiting outside, let us consider student to enter into the class. So I will not give chance to enter into the class. For example, if highest priority thread came, there is no intermission of myself. That means what? Directly higher authorities come directly into the execution area and I have to go out and I have to wait for that. Okay, right. If several waiting threads with same priority available, then we can't expect exact which thread will get chance for execution. Already we have discussed the thread which is yielded, when it will get chance. Once again, it depends on mercy of thread schedule. That means, so this point has to be understood. Now see, for example, here now this thread is there. Let us consider this is a thread which is given. For example, here we are having a more threads, some more threads. For example, three threads are waiting. Okay, in waiting state. These are in waiting state, and this is currently executing. Okay, so what happens here? Whenever this is executing here, it has passed itself and has given chance to this thread. For example, now what happens? This thread enters into running state, and this thread comes into waiting state. Now tell me, how many are waiting, are in waiting state? 3 threads are waiting. All are having which priority? Same priority. Can we expect which thread is going to execute next? We can't expect because all are having what? Same priority. So based on thread, it is going to be decided by whom? Thread scheduler. We cannot decide that. Okay. That means here yield method is going to do what? It is going to pass a thread which is executing currently and give chance to whom? And it is going to give chance to other threads with the same priority. Okay, and what happens now? Whenever it give chance to other threads, it went to which state? Waiting state. So in waiting state, if several threads are waiting, after completing currently executing thread, which thread will get chance? We can't expect because all are having equal priority, for example. So we can't expect. Okay, that is the case. Now, so how this yield method is there? So it looks like public static native void yield. As it is a static method, while using yield method, what we have to use? Thread dot yield. To call the method, we have to use what? Thread dot yield. Okay, and it is a native method. Method means what? It is not belonging to our Java. It is taken from some other language like C and C++, or it may be any other language. Okay. Now I'm not going to explain about these life cycle of a thread. After completing all the methods, finally I will show you a large diagram. big diagram, so that if I explain there, you can get a clear clarity about all the methods. Now, so for the thread dot yield method, I am going to show you an example here, so you can get a clear clarity about that yield method. So if you see this one here, so now here if you see thread dot yield is used here. So why I have to call thread dot yield? Because yield is a static method. Now your execution starts from main method. That means here you are having which method? Here this method is executed by whom? Main method. This statement also is executed by main method. Okay. So here if you see this one, we are going to have two threads here. Two threads. One is child thread, another one is main thread. So main thread and child thread are having which priority? 5 only here. So when T dot start, that means what? One thread is going to execute here. Okay. T is start execution here, and your main thread is going to start executing this one. Okay. This is child thread T, for example. Now what happens when while this is executing, here it is going to execute, let us consider main thread. Here what happens? Before executing child thread here, it applied which method? Thread dot yield. That means what? This child thread is passing itself. Okay, where we have applied? This code belongs to whom? This code is executed by T. Okay, this code is executed by whom? T. So T is passing itself. Why it is passing itself? Because it want to give a chance to other threads. What are the other thread here? Main thread is there, so it stops itself and given chance to this main thread. So first which is going to be printed? Main thread is going to be printed 5 times, and later which one is going to be printed? Child thread is going to be printed 5 times. Okay, so this is the example for our yield method. So if yield method is not present here, for example, what happens then? If yield method is not present, again what happens? Both the threads are going to execute simultaneously, and main thread and child thread will be printed irregularly. We can't expect the exact order of the output. Okay. See, main thread first and child thread next. Why child thread next? Because child thread has applied yield method. That means what it is saying? I will be passed until other thread which is having same priority executes. Which is having same priority means main thread is having the same priority. So it will execute. First main thread is going to be executed. After completing main thread, no other thread is there to execute in my program. So automatically who will get the chance? Child thread is going to get the chance. Okay. Right. So in the above program, child thread always calling yield method, and hence main thread will get chance more number of times for execution. Hence chance of completing the main thread for first is high. Why here they are saying that main thread is high means here they have written yield in for loop. If there is no for loop, for example, then who will execute first? Main thread will execute first. Okay. Now this is about our yield method. Now let us see about join method. So join is also a method which is present in our thread class. So when we are going to apply a join, it is very important. So I am having a good example to understand this join method also. First, let us define. I will define this. What is meant by join method. So if a thread wants to wait until the completing of some other thread, then we should go for join method. That means what? I will not perform the action. For example, we are having a data structure subject in our 2-1 semester. In the same way, we are having MFC. Let us consider in the same semester we are having mathematical font, that is MFCS and data structures. So in last unit of MFCS, we are having a graphs concept. In the same way, in DS also we are having graphs concept. So DFS, BFS will present in DS. In the same way, MFCS subject also we are having same DFS and BFS. So whatever maths are will say, MFCSR will say, so until the completion of your graphs in your DS, I will not say this concept. That means your MFCSR applied join on DSR. Okay, don't worry, I will take one more example for that so you can understand clearly. Now see, so here a small diagram is there which will be make you clear about this join. So now see, so these are the 3 different tasks which are going to be done by T1, T2, T3, for example. This is going to be done by one thread. This is going to be done by one thread. This is going to be done by one more thread. So 3 tasks are there which are going to be performed by 3 threads. So T1 task is what? Venue fixing. T2 task is what? Wedding card printing. T3 task is what? Wedding card distribution. Now, before going to explain this one, you know what should be happened first. So before going to fix a venue, will you go for wedding card printing? No. Without doing these two tasks, will you go for wedding card distribution? Is it possible? No. Then this thread has to wait until what? Until this task is completed. So this thread has to apply what? T2 dot join. That means what? This thread is saying what? Until T2's completion, I will not perform. What? Sorry, what this T2 has to say? T2 has to say until venue fixing wedding card is not going to print it. So it has to apply what? T1 dot join. So until this task, this should not be done. Until this task, this should not be done. So this T3, the task, this T3 is applying what? T2 dot join. This T2 is applying what? T1 dot join. So after T1 completion, this will execute. After T2's completion, T1 will execute. So this is the better example to understand about your join method. So here we are having overloaded methods for your join. Those are what? Join without parameters, join with one parameter, join with two parameters. So every method is going to throw what? Interrupted exception. Generally, what is meant by this interrupted exception means while we are in some sleeping state or waiting state, if someone interrupts us, so what happens? Otherwise, someone disturbs us, we will interrupt. So if that is the case, we are going to get what? Interrupted exception. Now, so here we are having overloaded methods. What is the difference between these things? That means this is the case. For example, two tasks has to be done. One is T1, another one is T2. Two tasks are there. Generally, what happens? Until T1 is completed, T2 should not stop for start. For example, okay, I will take one more example. Your friend is waiting outside for you. For example, so you both are both are belonging to same place. So you should go together and you will go by bus, RTC bus or any other bus together. So one day what happens? After 4 also, one faculty is taking the class. So outside your friend is waiting. What she will say? I will wait for you. One case is what? I will wait for you. I will wait for you means what? She will wait until you come to her. Okay, that is first case here. Until the completion of your task, it will wait. Here time is not given. Second case, what happens? Okay, I will wait for half an hour. She will say what? I will wait for half an hour. So she will see for half an hour. If you are not coming, if your task is not ended, she will do his task. That means what? She will go and she will go by another bus. Okay. One more case. I will wait for 30 minutes. Otherwise, okay, 30 minutes, 20 seconds. This case is last case is. That means here we are using some time. That is only the difference. Here what? There is no time. Until your completion, it is not going to perform. Here what? There is some, in these two cases, there is some time period. Until that time period only, it is going to wait. Okay. Now let us see the example for this one. So generally already you know exception concept. Every join method throws what? Interrupted exception, which is a checked exception. Hence compulsory we have to handle what? It by a try catch or throws keyword. Compulsory. If we are not going to use try catch or throws, we are going to get an exception. So see this one. So you can understand easily this problem. So if you see this code, you can observe again here same example we are going to see. Okay, it is not visible, I think. Okay, anyway. So same example I'm going to consider. Okay, see. Here in main I am going to apply. For example, already you know what is present here. Everything you know here. Okay. In run is there. Here I'm going to print instead of child thread, I'm going to print Seta thread. After Seta thread is printed, here I'm going to tell our T thread to sleep for 2 milliseconds. 2000 milliseconds is nothing but 2 seconds. Okay. Right. So now see here two threads are the T dot start is there. So here if let us initial I will say without this statement. So what happens? T dot start is there. Then this line is not there. It will come here. It will come here and it will do what? System.out.println Rama thread. While it is printing, Seta thread is also going to print once. First time it will print, after it will sleep for 2 seconds. So after again, it will print once again. So both things are going to be done simultaneously. Generally, if there is no concept of T dot join, what happens? Maximum cases, Rama thread will print first, later Sita thread, because Sita thread is waiting for what, 2 seconds every loop, in every loop. So that is the case if there is no concept of T dot join. For example, if there is a T dot join, now see, listen carefully. If here T dot join is there, who is executing the statements here? Your main thread. That means main thread is telling what? T dot join. That means until the completion of T task, I will not perform my task. That means T task is what? To print Sita thread 5 minutes, sorry, 5 times after every 2 seconds. So it will print 5 times. After completing this task only, your main thread is going to execute Rama thread. Reason is what? Here your main thread is telling what? I will wait until T execution. Okay, that is the case. So see, if we are commenting line 1, then both threads will execute simultaneously, and we can't expect exact execution order. Yes, already we have discussed. If we are not commenting line 1, then what happens? Main thread will wait until completing of child thread. In this, the output will be what? Sita thread 5 times followed by Rama thread 5 times. Okay. In the same way, here what happens? See, here your child thread is going to be waited for main thread. I will show that case here. So here T dot start is done. So whenever T dot start, what happens? It will go to child thread. When it goes to child thread, your main thread starts execution here. So here what happens? See here, listen carefully. Empty is there. Empty is going to store what? Thread dot current thread. Here thread dot current thread is what? Main. That means I am storing main in what? Empty. Empty is nothing but what now? Main thread. So here whatever who is executing this one? Your child thread. So child thread is going to say what? Empty dot join. That means child thread is telling that until the completion of main thread, I will not execute. So here what happens? Here after 2 milliseconds every time, main thread is going, that means main thread is going to print it 5 times. After completing the main thread task only, your child thread is going to execute 5 times, because it here your child thread is telling what? Empty dot join. That means what? In empty, what is there? Main thread is there. So until the main thread completion, your child thread will not be executed. What is the main thread execution? 5 times printing Rama thread or main thread. Here something is there. Okay, main thread is there. Later, after printing main thread only, your child thread is going to print it 5 times. Okay. So after printing main thread only, your child thread is going to print it 5 times. This is the case of your main thread. Sorry, a join method. If main thread calls join method on child thread and child thread calls join method on main thread, then it is going to be deadlock case. That means what? One small example I will give you. One faculty is there who is teaching in the class, and students are go on talking without listening his lecture. So faculty told what? You have to please be silent. If you are not in silence, I am not going to teach. Then what students are saying? Sir, if you teach, we will be silent. Students are saying what? If you teach, we will be in silent state. Faculty is saying what? If you stop, I will teach. So it will not end. So if faculty want to teach, they have to be in silent. If they have to be silent, faculty has to teach, which is not going to be done. Any process is not going to be end. So this type of situation is called as what? Deadlock. So it should not be done. So child thread, while child thread is applying, for example, while child thread is applying join on main, at the same time, if main thread is applying join on child thread, what happens? Both will be waiting for each other, which will not be ended. So this is the concept of join method. And last method we are going to see, that method is sleep method. So sleep method means what? Till now we have seen two methods. One is which method? First one is yield method, and second one is join method. When we are going to apply a yield method, when particular thread want to pass itself, and when it want to give chance to others, then we will apply yield method. When one thread want to give chance to other threads, we are going to use the concept of yield method. Second case is what? Join method. When I want to wait for other thread, I want to wait, one thread want to wait for another thread to complete its execution, then I am going for join method. Sleep means what? I myself want, that thread itself wants for some time not to run. That means it's so on. Let us consider, for example, a person. A person is working from morning 10 to evening 6 daily, for example. So after doing some work 10 to 2 o'clock, for example, he will think what? Okay, I will wait for one half an hour. Later, I will do the work. That means what? That half an hour is rest period, sleep period for him. He himself is going to which state? Sleep state. In the same way, if a thread don't want to perform any operation for a particular amount of time, then we should go for sleep method. Here, remember one thing: if there is no parameter here and we applied sleep, what happens? It is going to infinite loop. It go on sleeping. So compulsory some parameter will be there for this sleep. Either it may be milliseconds or milliseconds and nanoseconds. Okay, here also it is throwing what? Interrupted exception. So directly I will show you the example because it is a very easy concept. So see, system.out.println, main thread is executing here. So it is printing what? M. After printing M, it want to take rest for how many milliseconds? 3000 milliseconds. That is what? 3 seconds. So it has taken 3 seconds, waited. Later, after 3 seconds, E will be printed. Again 3 seconds, it takes rest. Again G, take rest. Again G, take completed. Task is completed. So this is the concept of your sleep method. So today we have discussed about 3 methods, that is sleep method, join method, and also your first method, yield method. Okay,